Welcome to the Golf Podcast Live with Raf and Mike. I'm Raphael Calamat alongside Michael Bleakley to bring you episode number 91. And, I want to tell everybody who's watching and listening, we're on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and X Live, formerly known as Twitter. Uh, you know, I'm excited. Mike. Golf is looking great. We're going to be playing a lot more soon here in Canada since I'm in Toronto. You're in Vancouver. How was your weekend, Mike?
It was good. It was good. Watched a bit of the Valspar. A lot of action going on there. It was really anybody's tournament. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a quiet weekend out west here. Didn't get a lot done myself. Had some good weather on Sunday, but I didn't get any golf in. So it was a terrible weekend.
Okay. Well, look, this weekend's great because there was so many different winners. Just to remind everybody, we're talking about the Masters. The next 3 Mondays, we're going to have some special guests on. We'll be talking Masters, players, breakdowns, and so on and so forth. And this episode's been brought to you by Castilla Roofing in Florida. Make sure you reach out to Mike Kelly. He's the golf community and clubhouse director. Get your free estimate. Nothing's free these days, but you get your free estimate on your roof in Florida. So call Mike. So I'm going to go through a couple of headlines really quickly, Mike. Nelly Corda wins. And, that's pretty amazing. It's been a little while for her at the Fur Hills Park Championship in LA. So that was very cool. Mr. Padraig Harrington gets his 7th win on PGA Tour Champions at the Hogue Classic. The guy's been doing some great teaching videos. And he said his goal is to get everybody to be a single digit handicap. Good luck with that.
Yeah, but that means everybody needs to practice. So it's never going to happen.
And I think one of the best feel-good stories of the year so far, we're looking at Mr. Peter Malnati, who's on the board for the PGA Tour as well. It's been, 3,000 plus days. What does that mean? That means about 9 years since his last win. It was very emotional. He went on record with Dickson after when he was on the green, and he got really emotional about how important it is to him. He had his kids run out, and he was really vocal about the fact that his dream when he was growing up was watching these guys have their kids run out on the green, to have that experience, to have the family there, because a lot of guys don't have close friends or family when they do have their first win or second win. And it's for him to experience that. And he said that 90% of guys out on tour dream about winning a PGA Tour event. Only the top 10% really focus on the money and working their schedule around the majors. Most of the guys love teeing it up every single day. Can you imagine as a rookie, even teeing up at the John Deere with all those amazing patrons, the great golf course, the setup, the cameras, the atmosphere? I mean, it doesn't need to be the Masters. And these guys love it. And he expressed that so well in the press conference and on the green that he had the media corps in tears.
Yeah, I was fighting back tears watching him at the end of the round. So I could just imagine the feeling of wondering if you're ever going to win again. Uh, as he stated, that was harder to get that second victory than the first. You think you
Yeah.
get that first victory and your road's paved, and that's
Yeah.
that. He went through a lot, and as he said, he wouldn't change anything he wouldn't change it at all. So, congrats to him. Um, you think about any sector, 20% of people make 80% of the money. You've heard that
Mm,
before. It's no different in the PGA Tour. Those top 25 guys are pushing hard. They are gearing up for the majors. They've had a handful of wins already. They're working on winning more majors. You can understand that focus. You need to have a really high, lofty goal if you want to achieve any of that stuff. So, but the rest of the guys, there's a lot going on out there. There's a lot of money out there. So there's a lot of privileges out there, depending on
mm.
how you finish. There's a lot to play for. Not just knocking down majors. As much as we know, Malnati would love a major. Um, this gets him into one. doesn't
That
it?
gets him into the Masters for the first
Right.
time.
So,
I mean,
uh,
it's really going to hit him hard, right? Is going driving down Magnolia Lane, being able to play in that par three contest. The kids are at such an age where they'll be able to dress up and go as caddies and that type of thing out there. Is such a wonderful thing to experience.
100%. So it's going to be, Masters is coming. We're 2 weekends away.
Yep.
Right. What do you think?
Well,
Any
it's
pick?
April 11th to the 14th, so I guess it's a little bit, maybe a week later than usual. It's usually in the first week, for first or second week. Yeah, it looks like it's the second week, and I think it's going to be wild, just like last year. Last year I felt was one of the most exciting Masters ever, and I've watched the Sunday final rounds going right back to 1970. And I've watched other ones that are available online going farther back than that. And I'm telling you, last year was exciting, with Rory building up to play well. He did his practice round, from what I remember, with uh, Brooks Koepka, and then he missed the cut, right?
Yeah.
Which everybody didn't expect. And then that battle with Mickelson coming up the leaderboard, never getting much coverage. And even though that he was ahead in holes, usually the person that's closest to finishing their round, their score shows up first. So you would see it at the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. Whereas his name wasn't even there. They had him like off the screen. They were sort of like not showing. I thought that was very strange. I've never seen that in an event where you're on the 17th, but the guy in the 11th with the same score is ahead of you on the leaderboard. That's bullshit.
It
But
is, and you wonder why.
yeah, you
Right?
do wonder why.
We
And I
all know
only noticed that this week. I didn't notice it last year. I noticed
So
it rewatching it this week.
I got to rewatch it before this year's Masters just to get that recap. They do a good job putting that hour recap together.
I thought
I
the
would like to
production
see it.
quality of the Masters that they put up was not as good as it was in the past.
Interesting. Okay.
There was interference with the Spanish feed. All of a sudden, they went into Spanish mode where guys are talking over Jim Nantz, and then Jim Nantz saying, "Oh,
Oh,
we've got our Spanish friends here." It was so strange, and it was.
it does
But
happen. It does happen. People don't. You see the product on TV, you don't realize what's happening in the production end. That anything can go down, and it happened in
yeah.
a premier event like that. So someone
That
probably
being
got
said, but the
covered.
quality of the feed with the drones and go like they have this one shot of the drone going through Ray's Creek.
Yeah, I
It's
remember.
very, very cool. You get to
Drones.
see the Masters and Augusta National like it's never been seen before for the last 2-3 years with the drone footage on how hilly it is
Hmm.
and the up close analysis with the camera guys walking with the players really up close.
Yeah.
With the high definition, cameras, it's a whole different feel to it.
It's getting better. Drones, they add a whole new dynamic to the coverage of golf, right? And you can hear them when you're at an event. You see them. They use fairly large drones. They're audible, but they get amazing footage. They're also using small drones too. You can tell some of the certain shots where they'll do a flyover or through trees. They'll use a series of different sized drones, but it's added a
Yeah.
great element to golf. I love it.
That's incredible. You know what? There's so many great players, and obviously, Live coming together with the PGA Tour players. Obviously, now with the former winner, John Rahm, coming back as a Live player is a whole wild dynamic. In addition, everybody's saying, "Well, there's not many guys." There's a whole pile of guys. There's Bryson, Brooks, Adrian Moronk, Phil Mickelson, John Rahm, Patrick Reed, Dustin Johnson, Bubba Watson, and a guy who actually worked his way in and got an invite, Joachim Niemann. It's going to
Yeah.
be amazing to see him there. He's thrilled to be there, to get an invite because he kind of chased it around the world and played some events, and the Masters recognized that and gave him the invite.
Yeah. No, he's a great addition. He's a solid player. It's going to be interesting again to see the Live guys enter Augusta. We haven't seen it in quite a few months at any of these guys being the same field.
Yeah.
and obviously the Masters just adds a little drama to the excitement of the Masters. And with John Rahm making the flip, who what if he wins it again this year? That's just going to be out of this world.
I think Kepka's a big favorite of mine. Like last year, he kind of fell apart, won the PGA afterwards.
Yeah.
Really got into his zone. He didn't seem like he lost that tournament. It's not like he completely rewatching it this week. He completely fell apart and lost the tournament. And Phil Mickelson came from behind. He was so close. Like
Mm-hmm.
he had like a huge round, and it was so cool to see. So that's really cool. Obviously, we're here to talk about the menu. Last year, Gary Williams joined us, and we talked about all the steak and seafood and uh, the chocolate chip biscuit, cookies and all kinds of stuff that he had. It was sounded amazing. This is a little bit different of a take. Can I read something to you, Mike? I read this.
Yeah.
I'm scrolling. I was on Facebook, and there's a site called Golf Lovers on Facebook, and I don't know why it popped up on my feed. I don't subscribe to it, but I guess it's an algorithm for because all the golf stuff I look at, and it had a quote from Rory. So he commented on John Rahm's Champions menu, saying, "Someone needs to tell him the dinner is in Augusta, not Madrid. There won't be too many empty plates there."
Yeah. Yeah. I've seen this quote. This is great.
And then Rahm replied saying, "The only way Rory ever attends the Champions dinner is if he's the waiter."
Yeah.
Now,
Now,
now I
is this
don't know.
satire? I think that's satire.
Yeah, I think so. Absolutely. There's no reference to this. It's only
Yeah.
some random site.
I think that came from PGA Tour. The parody account of the
Oh,
PGA.
they spell it wrong. It's like tour
T-O-R. Yeah,
Tuor. Yeah, those guys are pretty funny.
they are. They got great content. And I believe it's one of those parody sites because if John Rahm actually said that, the media
Yeah.
would have been all over it. They'd be talking about it for 2 weeks.
Oh,
Uh,
you bet.
it'd be. But why don't you read me a couple appetizers off this menu? Let's see how you.
Oh, you got the menu up. You got the menu
Oh,
up. I don't know if I could read this, Mike. Let me see if I could pop it up on my phone because I could barely see it on the screen, even though I'm wearing my glasses here. But do you want to start with the first one so I could find this?
I'll start with the first one. Iberlos, which is a corn-fed Iberian ham cured pork loin. Sounds great.
This sounds actually pretty good.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. And this is the tapas y pintos.
Sure.
So this is Ibericos. And then I've got, I don't know why I started sounding like Cheech and Chong there.
You pick
But,
another one.
How about the next one? Idiazabal con trufa negra.
Not bad.
Yeah.
The chistorra con patata.
Yeah, but let me tell everybody what this is. This is either, that's a Z, so it's probably pronounced like an F, like olafable.
Like
so,
Ibiza, right?
Yeah, idafabal cheese and black truffle. That's what I just read. I don't know what that is. Never had it. Sounds pretty good.
Chistorra con patata, which spicy Basque chorizo potato. I mean,
that's good.
That sounds delicious.
That actually sounds very good. We're going to get hungry, Mike. I know it. Tortilla de panatas. So it's Spanish omelet, onions, confit potatoes.
Where did you see the N in that?
Where? The tortilla de patatas?
There you go.
What did I say?
Panatas.
Oh. I was thinking pañada.
Yeah, sure.
All right.
Spanish omelet, onions. It's a lot of appetizers. These guys are going to be full before
they're probably quite. They might be tiny.
They're probably
they're probably like those. You know what I'd get? I get like mini sandwiches with the crust cut off.
Egg salad, like at a funeral.
Right. You know what I tell you, I'd get like fast food. I get KFC, McDonald's.
Trump did that. Remember, Trump did that for the Eagles or something like that, or is it the Patriots? They're all at the White House. It was some sports team. He ordered in fucking fast food.
Why not? I mean, everybody loves it. You could have like 5 different fast foods. but I guess you want to stay true to where you're
If
from and
you
stuff.
if
Can
you
you
won the
imagine if Hovland won and get Norwegian like
you would get Chipotle.
you get herring with onions? with,
There'd be none of that. He would have Chipotle cater the whole thing.
is he a fan of Chipotle?
Remember, he always talks about it. That's where he went to eat all the time because that's what
Oh,
he could
right,
afford.
right. You guys have that in Vancouver? I've had it here. We've got Chipotle here
We
now.
don't have it out here. I've had it in the States. It's average.
It's pretty good because they've got all the servings are huge and
Yeah,
they lay it right in front of you. They got huge lineups here. And they
yeah.
got one in Oakville where I live.
There's none of that here. Um,
All right, so what's next? All right, I'll try the lentejas estofadas. So Mama Ram's classic lentil soup. Oh, he said he was going to bring something that his mom makes and his grandmother makes.
yeah, it's nice. I wouldn't touch that.
Yeah, it's lentils. It's lentil stew.
Lentil stew. I'm sure it's very tasty, but the last
Yeah,
thing
he's
you
probably
want to eat before dinner is stew.
yeah, he's probably laughing at putting. I told the guys to put X-Lax in there. Whoever has that.
Uh,
All right, so main course. I'm not excited so far, but some of the stuff is okay. I like the spicy potato, and the pork loin might be pretty good. But the main course, let's do chuleton a la perilla. That's Basque. Oh, Basque, I guess, is the region they're from.
oh
Basque,
yeah,
because it's not
like
a Bisque. It's a
yeah.
Basque.
Basque is the region.
Yeah, so that's northern Spain or something. Ribeye, Tudela lettuce, and piquillo peppers. So
Oh
that's
yeah, I'd
it's
be
a
all over.
ribeye.
Yeah, I'd be all over that. What's
All
this?
right, you're
Rotabalo al PP pil pil?
pill pill.
I don't know. Just
That's white asparagus.
yeah.
Yeah, so I'm just reading here. It's
I got to look that up.
yeah, the Basque is I just found this Northern Spanish Basque country in Bilbao. So that's Rom's favorites, including his granny's dish. So
It's
that might
fish.
be okay.
Northern Atlantic fish. Pardon me, my tongue is twisted. In Northeast
Yeah.
Atlantic, Baltic Sea, and Mediterranean Sea is where this fish is found.
Okay.
It is hideous looking fish, but I'm sure it's good.
As maybe it's tasty. Uh, and the dessert is mil joyas de crema llanata,
Hmm.
and that's my best Spanish accent I could possibly do. That's puff pastry cake, custard, and chantilly cream. That
I'd
sounds great.
probably have two pieces of that.
Yeah, sounds really rich.
Yeah.
Not
Uh,
bad. Not as good as Scotty Scheffler's, right?
well, what was
I
that?
think it was.
Steak?
Oh, his was basically steak and seafood, right? And then he had that shepherd's pie, and he had that cookie. He had that skillet cookie
Oh, you can't go
with
wrong
ice
with skillet cookie.
with melted ice cream on it, and then he had yeah, that was a pretty good menu. I love that menu.
It's
But
called,
getting
go ahead.
yeah, I was going to jump ahead and talk a little bit about the players. Yeah, again, we talked a little bit about live players going down, um, but the big story, I guess, is Tiger Woods not playing on schedule because he said he wants to play one tournament a month. He basically skipped the month of March. Last tournament he played was at the Genesis with a withdrawal due to supposedly a flu. And he's an 82-time winner on the PGA Tour. I mean, how can you go wrong by picking Tiger Woods? Because you just never know. I'm skeptical on how he's going to play. I think his body's
What are you picking him to do? Make the cut or win?
I'll make the cut. I think he'll make the cut.
I think
I
he'll make
think
the cut. I think seeing his last performance and he's had to withdraw again. He's probably saving his body for this. We know it's a tall test on the body, a lot of walking.
uh-huh.
Um, I think he'll make the cut. I would flip out if he was in the top 10. I think that would be amazing. You never know with Tiger, but really in his age, when with all the injuries he's gone through, um, my expectations are low. As a fan, though, I'd love to see him. I'd love to see him win it, but in
Yeah.
reality, who knows? If
Well,
anyone
I'm
gets
rooting.
surprised, it's just Tiger.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's pop that menu off. Not too excited to talk about it. Don't know most of that stuff that's on there, but wouldn't mind trying it. But
Oh, yeah,
unlike last year, yeah, go ahead.
it's all right. I would try it all. I
Yeah,
might just taste the stew, but that's not my ideal appetizers. I'm sure
yeah,
there's.
but unlike last year, I actually had some of those menu items that Scotty had.
Well, yeah, here it
You
is.
know, because I
Cheeseburger.
wanted to give that a try. I don't want. I'm not going to go out of my way to try this menu.
Well, where are you going to get that? Probably you could go downtown Toronto probably and find a restaurant that serves some of that. Uh,
Yeah.
yes, Scotty's got cheeseburger sliders,
Oh
firecracker,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
tortilla
Cheeseburger
soup,
sliders.
Texas ribeye, or black and red fish, and then a warm
Yeah,
skillet cookie. I mean, you're having all of that.
yeah.
And it's a very small menu. John's got a really complex menu. He's got a lot going on there. I think the chefs are shaking their head right now. Uh,
Yeah, his chef is there's a guy who's helping up. His name is Jose Andres.
okay,
So he's a chef from his region, I suppose, or family
probably.
friend or something. Just like Mike Weir back in the day, didn't he get some authentic Canadian dishes? He got a Canadian cook to do up some things.
Yeah,
That was kind of fun. Wonder what John Daly would have gotten. That would have been a crazy menu. Just get some Hooters,
yeah.
wings.
Well, here actually, Weir surprises me because I forgot it's been quite a while.
Yeah,
Um,
2004.
Sushi.
He got sushi. Didn't he have steak or deer or something? He got some caribou or something.
Sushi right here. He had Miyazaki Wagyu ribeye.
Okay.
No, no, pardon me. This is Hideki.
No, that's Hideki. That sounds like Hideki's.
Sorry, that was a bad Google search.
We're speaking of Canadians: Corey Connors, Adam Hadwin, Nick Taylor, Mackenzie Hughes, all guys looking to make the President's Cup team, and I think they're going to show up. They've been playing pretty good. Mackenzie Hughes was leading the tournament on Sunday at the Valspar Championship over at Copperhead, and that was pretty amazing to see him like push forward, and he just kind of fell apart with a couple of bogeys to finish off his round. Reminds me of him putting the ball up in the tree and having the lead or share the lead. Was that the Genesis where a year or two ago where he was on that par three and the ball just stuck up in the tree?
Yeah, that
Yeah,
was wild.
it was a bad break. He had a couple of bad breaks and lies on the last few holes. But Nick Taylor, Adam Hadwin, and Corey Connors, they're playing great. And I'm looking forward to seeing them play the Masters as well.
Yeah, oh, definitely. Mackenzie Hughes had a chance this past weekend. Is he in the field?
I know Nick, Adam, and Corey are for sure.
I just,
Mackenzie Hughes would have had to be in the top 50 in the money list by the end of last year.
I do not
I
see
thought
him.
he
No,
might not be there. Maybe he didn't get the invitation. I
no,
don't
I'm
know.
on the site here. He is not there. Okay, get on it,
Well,
Mackenzie.
yeah. Well, Malnati is. I guess he took the spot. He's got a nice invite. So Nick, Adam, and Corey. And I guess the fourth would be Mike. Mike's playing, former champion. He's in shape. He's playing
Yeah,
the champions. He was getting ready at the Ho Classic. So he'll be playing. Did you find
yeah.
that menu by any chance?
Mike, where's menu? Yeah, I did. It is elk, wild boar, Arctic char, and Canadian beer.
So it was elk.
Elk.
Okay. Have you ever tried elk or deer or any of that? It's really tough.
Yeah, I have. It's a
Game.
bit gamey. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's I like it better when it's spiced. Here, I just come across Bubba Watson here. Look at this. He's got Caesar salad, grilled chicken breast with green
Mm.
beans, mashed potato, corn, macaroni, cheese, and confetti cake. Maybe, like, what, could you
That's
put a
good.
little more thought into it?
But
Yeah, okay.
yeah, there was a lot of things about you know what, the dinner is a great tradition. A lot of these tournaments do have dinners, but you know, it's not honoring the previous champion. But a lot of these big tournaments do have dinners. I mean, if you just look at the RBC Heritage or the Open in the Open, right, has a dinner, a winner. There's a lot of tournaments that have that kind of tradition where they get together and
Yeah, none of them are the Masters. So even we always love the Open Championship, but the Masters, it's like the beginning of spring.
mm,
It's sort of the unofficial start to golf season for a lot of Canadians, anyway. Uh,
yes,
so, and it's
it's
beautiful
familiar.
course, and
It's
it's at the same club, every
yes,
year. So you get used to it. So it's like much like the Players Championship and
yes,
Sawgrass. Like how do it gets your bones itching to play golf as soon as you see TPC Sawgrass and how well manicured it is and how the bunkers and everything. So Masters is just that. It's beautiful. They really do a great job getting it ready. Aesthetics are immaculate. Not a blade of grass out of shape there.
yes. No, I agree. Man, the golf course is in tremendous course. I mean, just to walk those fairways and to play there, you know, it's on our bucket list. We've been talking about it for you know, close to 30 years.
It's
We'll
on
get out there.
every bucket list. Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah,
We'll
we'll
get
be there
out.
soon. Yeah, we'll just call the pro shop and let them know who we think we are, and we'll come
So
down.
let's you got a list out of the players that are playing. A couple of standouts for me, you know, guys over 50. You know, obviously Sandy Lyle retired last year, so that's great. A couple of guys who, you know, shouldn't be playing all the way through, but there's guys who still could hold their own and play really well, like Fred Couples and VJ Singh. I'm fine with them playing. They still have the length, they still have the touch, and someone like Jose Maria Olafable, on the other hand, who's playing. I'm not a fan of somebody who doesn't play on tour, but he's been trying to get his game sharp. He actually played at the Hogue. I don't know how he finished, but he's playing. And obviously, always looking towards Mike Weir, playing those par fives immaculately, always laying up and, you know, putting it inside of 10 feet and scoring there.
Well, it's great discipline, right? We could all learn from that. Ego pushes us to go for par fives because but you have to make the right decision for your game, but his discipline paid off. So uh,
Well, that's how he won in 2004.
yeah,
Against you know, Len Matisse, uh, our good friend Len Matisse out in Florida. If you're out there, looking forward to talking to you soon. And just a friendly reminder, we've got a great contest, Mike, and it's from Lagmaster Sports, and I'm pretty excited about this. We're giving something away, and we're not asking our audience to do much, are we?
not
We
much.
just So Mike Dickson, who is a top 100 PGA professional, helped us get a giveaway, which includes a whole bunch of teaching tools and a jersey, hoodie, and a cap. So all you guys need to do is sub our YouTube channel. So if you're watching us right now on Facebook, on Twitter X, or on YouTube, just click subscribe. It doesn't take much. It means a lot to us, and we're gonna pick a lucky winner on Masters weekend.
It's a $500 prize pack. Some great tools. I tried out the Rock Shot and the Lag Master last week at the range. It works really very effective tools. And he's got a custom jersey, a Lag Master
Yeah,
jersey. It looks pretty sweet, and the hat as well.
yeah.
So definitely check it out.
So there's 5 items. There's the Ching aid, there's the Rock Shot, the hoodie, the cap, and the mini club. I almost forgot the mini club.
The
And
mini
so
club.
all of those things, you know, valued at about $500. And all you need to do is sub our YouTube channel, and you could follow us on one of our social media platforms. We certainly appreciate that as well. But we're trying to grow the channel as far as the podcast is concerned. So, just jump in there, get a follow. We've got some great guests coming by. We've had some fantastic guests, both in media and players. And so come on and follow us. We'd love to hear you and your comments. So make sure that you could just comment in our social media or on our YouTube feed. We'd love to respond and talk to you about anything. If we're live and you're seeing us right now and you'd like to make a comment, don't be mean.
Go ahead, be mean. Go for it.
Or be mean. We'll deal with that as well. But we're very appreciative of those who listen and follow us over the last 2 years. This is our 91st episode. We've had some of the industry greats in media, as far as writers, as well as personalities, golfers, and it's just been a pleasure and an honor to do this. Mike, what are you laughing at now?
It sounds like you're raising funds at PBS, right?
please send in $100.
Send a play.
And
no, that's
and I'll be able to pay my rent.
Oh, jeez.
But no, that's a great contest. Lagmaster, man, they're awesome.
Go to Instagram. You can link to everything there right on Instagram or off of X. But I've set up Instagram. It's really easy for you to follow Lagmaster Sports. The link to our YouTube's right there. Boom, it's done. And we'll pick a winner on Masters weekend. And we'll contact that winner and arrange to get this prize in their hands. So let's move back to the Masters.
Absolutely. Mike, it's crazy. I've got a good feeling about a couple of players, and I'm just going to name out a few that come off the top of my head. I wanted to mention Joachim Niemann because he kind of earned his way on, and he's got a lot to prove, and so do a lot of guys. Everybody wants to win a major, obviously, but there's a couple of guys that stand out to me. After rewatching last year's Sunday final round with Koepka, I think Koepka's going to be in the mix. I don't know if he's going to win, obviously, but I'm sure he's going to be piling on the top 10 if his game's on point. He's got the swagger, he's got the game, he's got the imagination, he's got all the shots, and not all the players have all the shots who could shape the ball left.
Confidence. He is so confident. He elevates his game for majors. He's proven it time and time again. You can't take that away from him. He's a good chance he's going to be in the conversation during this week or next week's event. DeChambeau, what do you think about DeChambeau? Is he going to come out and
he's been playing some of the best golf he's ever played on the live circuit. He's been shooting such low numbers, and he's got his body down to a reasonable size, right? He's not too bulky. He seems really fit. He's working on his game a lot. He's dialed in the driver. It's one of the strongest part of his game right now. It's not all over the place. He's hitting straight, long shots. He's dialed back a little bit in distance, but
years ago, we called it a par 67. And the coast of Augusta, Bobby Jones up there sure made a mess of that. So I think he's probably been humbled from that experience. Yes. And he does. He admitted he tried to get too big, and he's got more on a healthier path, drinking too many protein shakes and his diet and all that. He wasn't actually feeling very good, as what he reported. And now he is taking a healthier approach to it all. And so we'll see. He's always fun when he's in the mix because he's aggressive. And when he gets his putter hot, he's a lot of fun to watch. How do you think
it's going to be now? Well, I just want to make a comment on Bryson before we jump there. Sure. All of these guys, do you think they're going to be wearing their team outfits? I think, because they're part owners, right? It's a franchise. It's part of the brand. So he's going to be wearing the Crushers stuff.
Remember we laughed about it last year, right?
Yes, we did.
And we almost fell out of the chair laughing with Gary about it. But 100%, they're rolling down Magnolia Lane branded. No doubt about it.
The fireballs rolling down Magnolia Lane. Isn't that the Gary's comment?
That was it. I
Gary
almost
Gary
passed my
Williams.
coffee out.
That name was actually supposed to change. I think Sergio wanted to change the name, but I guess it stuck.
Yeah, they could
Yeah,
change a few of those names.
I'm getting
I,
used to it. Right, it's brand new. It's hard to get into it, but it's been 2.5 years now. It's like I'm getting into it a lot more.
well, people, it was a little bit different. Even how they do the scoring, some similar to F1, and then the team scoring. Some people weren't understanding how to read it, and like I admit, it took me, the first event to see it and then to absorb, see the formula that they put forward. It's not that hard. Like, think, people. Like, it's, look at the leaderboard. There's teams. You can see how it changes. I think it's pretty easy to make sense of. Um, so, and it's, this is still new. 2.5 years is nothing. Can you imagine the PGA Tour when it first broke away from the PGA of America?
Hmm.
They need to figure it out. They are. We know they're not hurting for money, so they're going to figure it out. I would like to see the team thing elevate to a really unique format. So,
Hmm. Hmm.
but the Live PGA Tour battle, Ryder Cup style battle, would probably pull a lot of eyeballs,
Yeah.
and I won't be surprised when we see that happen. It's going to take probably another year, maybe two, to get through all the legal battles and, um, with this framework agreement, and see where pro golf ends up sitting. But at the end of the day, we might end up having more compelling tournaments, because PGA gets a bit
Yeah.
boring week in, week out. It's the same
Yeah,
format.
and
So,
you know what? The storylines aren't bad with the newer players coming out. I don't mind. It's up to the media to make it a story. When you're going to watch a boxing match, on a pay-per-view, sometimes you don't know the guys who are starting the bill, and they do these profiles on where the boxer comes from, where he's training, who his trainer is, how long he's been doing this, his amateur career, and within like 60 seconds, you're like, oh yeah, I like this guy. I'm going to follow him, right?
yeah,
And they do that with all sports. They need to do it a little bit more here. They do it really well with Live. The production has been pretty great. Um, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing all those players, because the Xanders, the Justin Thomases, Ricky Fowlers, they're not showing up. They're playing okay, but like
they,
even Spieth, golf's golden boy is like kind of disappeared, right? He's been working on his swing. I don't expect
yeah,
these guys to show up at the Masters.
I have no expectations for them either. I think there's going to be a couple of live players are going to make a move, maybe in the discussion, like Kepka, maybe even DJ. He's won there before. Let's not forget that. He's very comfortable. He's in control of his ball, and nothing gets that guy irritated. He is unflappable on the golf course. But then you've got Matthew Pavon from France, solid
Oh,
player. You got Adrian Moron, your fellow countryman. You got some of these guys out there looking to prove. Obviously John
yeah,
Rahm.
they got a lot to prove, especially someone like Adrian Moronk, who's going to fall off of the top 50 standings if he hasn't already.
Yeah.
Uh, so that's the reason how he got in.
Hmm.
Right? He was in the top 50 at the end of the 2023 season. So if you're in there before the end of the calendar year, I should say, not the season, because it was a wraparound, but you get in. So think about all the guys. All of these guys have moved up in standings. I don't want to talk about this too much, but the official world golf ranking is really messed up, because you've got like 30 guys who dropped out of the top 100, and all these other guys advanced.
Yeah.
And so I'm not blaming anybody for that, because the official world golf ranking needed to catch up, but it's taken them too long to figure it out. They're actually holding that against them as leverage, because
Yeah.
it's probably one of the only things they have left as leverage,
Yeah. It's
outside of some
political.
great tournaments.
Definitely politics of golf right now. That's a factor. We don't even need to speculate on it. The world golf rankings are playing ball there. Um, you have the TUGR coming up in popularity.
Hmm.
They're getting recognized, so there could be a shift in how the rankings are dealt with, especially if the game is growing on the global scale further. They're going to need to modernize the formula. So too many good
Well,
players.
we're gonna have a great conversation next week live from Miami. So make sure you join us. We're gonna be talking to Mike McAllister, editorial director for the Live Golf League, and he will be on site. We're gonna ask him, Mike. We got a lot of questions. Live doesn't get much coverage in the mainstream media, and outside of what they're doing internally, it's really difficult to get somebody to get an opinion. So this is going to be fantastic. We're obviously pro golf. We're not anti anything. We're just pro golf, pro live, pro PGA Tour, pro Asian Tour, Canadian Tour, what have you. Sunshine, uh, uh, LPGA. I mean, it's really about the stories about the players, their accomplishments, what they shot, what the golf course was like, what the equipment they use, the money that's being played for. There's so many different ways to talk about a story and about a player. And the format's new and exciting. I don't care if people find it boring. Then
Well,
you got to watch it and get used to it to get into it. Like you can't just have an opinion without ever attending an event or having a full media articles without even talking to a player or going to an event and experiencing it. And I'm glad the media is starting
well,
to do that, like Bob Harrig, right? At least he's gone to the events.
a lot of the guys, like I saw Shipnuck and Rappaport, a lot at the live event I went to.
Yep.
Um, 'cause it was close by, easy to get to for me. They all went and they go, um, and you need to experience it. And like I would just want to say, most golf tournaments are boring.
Yeah. You got to have
Except
a plan.
for certain ones. Like this week, the Valspar was interesting because there's a lot of players, a lot of decent players were in the storyline. I found it was pretty cool.
Hard golf course. Hard
It is
golf
a hard
course.
golf course. The players is always fun to watch just because it's such an epic golf course.
Yes.
But really, day to day, were you watching the Puerto Rico Open? No. Like you've got to be real dedicated to the sport or have a family member in the field to be hooked on that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I spend a lot of time, whatever I'm doing, whether I'm in the office or I'm outside or in the car, I'll listen to a lot of SXM. So a lot of live coverage, a lot of great interviews and people talking about the game. And so I enjoy catching a lot of my golf there.
sure. But for the most part, unless it's a compelling tournament, the PGA Tour can be boring. Even
Yeah.
at the Valspar, you see some of the camera pans around the course, and there wasn't hundreds of thousands of people there. So, Live gets slammed for having a smaller crowd, or no one's showing up, or no one's watching. But um, they do get a crowd, and
Yes.
it's so like you said, go check it out, and
Mm.
it's not going anywhere. Look at all the players that are over there. Patrick Cantlay is rumored to be the next one in discussions to go over. So if he goes, who knows? Like there's, they're going to poach some more players.
Patrick Cantlay, you know what? He falls into that category that I just talked about of the players who are now supposedly the stars on the PGA Tour, right?
Yeah,
So Xander, Justin, Ricky, Jordan, and Patrick. There's different shades of gray. There's not much color there except for Ricky, literally, and but uh, it's not. I'm more excited about the new guys coming on and playing, like Eric Cole, right?
yeah,
Or Wyndham Clark just burning things up, right? Or
yeah,
Ludwig Oberg,
yeah,
just bombing the ball and shaping it with such distance and penetration. And so different sound off the club face. Every generation there's a couple of players that come up and you could hear it off the club face. It just sounds different, looks
yeah.
different. They're a new golfer. So
Well,
I'm even more excited about someone like Keegan Bradley, Mike. Like
Keegan,
Keegan's got a lot to prove. I don't know if you saw the
yeah,
Netflix series, but you're gonna love him.
I'm trying to get through it. It's painfully boring. Um, but I've always been a fan of Keegan. He's scrappy, and
Yep.
I remember Jim McLean said, rolled up in his old Toyota, and he's not a wealthy kid who's been handed everything. He's gone out and found it in the dirt.
Yeah,
So
some great stories. If you guys like to go back to other episodes, we had Jim McLean on with some really great original stories that he shared with us. So thanks to him for doing that. But certainly, then you've got guys. There's always the amateur aspect, and so we always learn about the amateur. Now they have Santiago de la Fuente, some
yeah,
Mexican fellow who's supposed to be on fire. Um, Really, really good player. Jason's Day's games coming around. Nice to see him back
hmm
on the leaderboard and free from injury and playing well. There's that new kid, Austin Eckroat. I don't know how new he is,
he's
but
not
Nick
new.
Dunn.
He's been around a while, but
He's been, but yeah.
you got Gary Woodland who's coming off of brain surgery and starting to
Oh
punch
yeah,
the
yeah.
game, right?
Nick Dunlop coming off with that win.
Cameron Young
Uh,
played hot this week, so there's a lot of stories that could manifest here.
yeah.
Just looking at the list,
You mentioned
here.
Tony Finau.
Yeah, Tony Finau. It's always one of those guys that you want to see something good happen to, and for him to win the Masters, that would just shut the media up.
It would. It would in many ways. I mean, do you remember he was in the final pairing in 2019 with Tiger Woods, and he
Yeah,
talks about the experience of watching and play all those shots and just being. I think the guy, you spend more time watching this legend play beside you in the final round than concentrating on your own
well,
game.
that's
You
my
get
first thought. Is like, why are you watching Tiger? Like, you're supposed to be
right.
there battling against him. So, appreciate the moment, and but you've got to be gearing up to win. Yeah,
Well,
you
easier said
can't
than
be.
done.
Oh,
Easier said than
100%.
done.
But you got to
Uh,
have that mindset, right? And it's just like, like Stephen Ames when he said what he said, he got drummed by Tiger. It's like, don't
right.
do that, but have that internally that, like, you know what? I'm going to try and take this guy out. Like if you're there, you got a chance to win. So what? He's a better player. And if the greatest player in our generation, if not ever, um, go for it. This is your chance to take him down. You got to have that mentality, not sit there and appreciate every shot he hits. Go watch highlight footage if you want to do that.
Champions Tour is pretty amazing. Stephen Ames, the Canadian, he's still got a lot of moxie. The guy's
Yeah.
really tough. He's got a chip on his shoulder, but he's getting he's got quite a few wins. He's won 4 times out there. You got Patrick Harrington won, then it was
Well,
JD Thong Chai, who's like been a grinder all over the world. Uh, Jimenez, who Miguel Angel Jimenez is just an incredible golfer. He's a very strange guy, and he gets into a lot of fights. But he's also very arrogant and always complains about
he's,
the purses. They should be higher on the Champions Tour because they've had such a small increase in purses.
there's nobody
I
there.
mean,
There's no one there. Like, I
you
mean,
know what?
and
Some
I'm
of those,
a fan of it.
I,
I'm a fan of it. But there's so little people there, and they need
those
to run it
Florida events have more people than some of those PGA events on a Thursday,
for sure.
Friday.
They
Yeah,
could, in for a real golf fan with the depth of the Champions Tour field, it's worth going, right?
but they
Because of
put
the
no
fact,
marketing into it. They don't put anything into it like the Legends Tour in Europe. You
no,
could just go look at the followers on YouTube. They have like I don't know, probably 10, 20, 30,000 followers on YouTube for the Champions Tour, and the Legends Tour has like 1.2 million, which is crazy. That's
yeah,
an incredible amount of people for a senior tour in Europe. So they're doing
well,
something right on the marketing side.
you catch
PGA has
a lot of
completely dropped the
Champions Tour.
ball.
Champions Tour is sort of it's second fiddle to obviously the PGA
To,
Tour, but
yeah, to all the
they seem
tours.
behind
Right.
on their content. They don't utilize YouTube. Even their web content, their website is underdeveloped. They should be doing more there.
Yeah.
They could put a lot more into it and maybe grow the
Oh, they got
product.
the budget. They have. You saw their headquarters out in Jacksonville. It's a nice place. They've got a lot of money, especially with the new investment that's coming in.
But every
Uh,
year now, you like there's more and more players edging on, and soon enough, you know who's going to be eligible, and
mhm.
Tiger's going to move the needle. out there, and then the purses will come because the corporate money will start to come in behind it.
Look, a lot of those players are not complaining because they have a place to play. It's very unique in sports to have a competitive league that pays out that kind of money at 50 plus. Most of these guys have made their money. They've made anywhere between $5 and $20 million in their career. They're pretty established. They've invested that money. There's only 5 guys every year who get a chance to go on, like our friend Michael, like Labritz, and we had Cooper on. You can go back and watch those guys. We talked to them about their experiences. Um, but most of these guys have made their money, so they're not really complaining.
For the most
Uh,
part, there's got to
the
be a
only
few out there that are
well,
struggling.
I said Miguel. I've heard Miguel talk about the person.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, he's a
it's
very entitled man. He's cocky, and that's kind of the swagger you need for golf. Like, he is really
yeah.
outspoken, and look at him. He's walking around with a foot long cigar and doing knee swirls, and he walks around like he doesn't give a shit about what anyone thinks of him. And
He's
that's
got the
that's what
shots
you need.
though.
He's got the
You see
shot.
the
So you
you
need
can't
that.
believe how he strikes the ball every time. Like this weekend when I was watching him hole out these long putts or crazy sand shots or fairway approach shots for greens in regulation. His tee shots, all the parts of his game are solid. And it's almost like the his golf playing doesn't fit the character with the ponytail and
No,
the aviator glasses and the big bill hat and the cigar and the belly
yeah, he's
with the
a
big
character.
with an
The golf needs characters, right? So it's like, he's not my favorite player, but he's a character that I appreciate in the game. And like PGA Tour, or it's too robotic. Sometimes these guys, the kids
yeah
are so good. They're literally like, coming right out of a machine.
yeah
A plus
well
10 handicap. So
right
it's unbelievable. So this Jimenez being a a bit of a nutter is great, and it makes it more interesting. Like, I don't know if you watched any of yesterday, but on the last hole, uh, Harrington, he blows it way right. It's a terrible shot.
hmm
He had doubled a couple holes previously, so he's a little edgy. Um, Thong Tai Jai D,
yeah
it's in the fairway. Jimenez misses left. He's got a good shot, but he can't go at the back pin. Harrington ends up making birdie from the other hole, right, and wins
right.
that tournament. But he had a huge cut in his face, like he got in a bar fight. I don't know if you caught that.
I
Uh,
caught that because I watched the highlights. I didn't get a chance, so I
like,
watched 10 minutes of highlights.
what happened?
um
He got a little
I don't know, and
accident.
they mentioned it in the cast that he's got a something happened to his face, but I didn't catch what happened.
Okay, yeah,
Did
I
he hit
didn't know.
himself in the face?
So I don't know if that happened during the event, but he had cut under his eye
Right, right,
of
right.
sorts. So I don't know if there was something more. Hopefully, not say anything serious, but um,
Yeah, it was on his cheekbone. It looked like right
yeah.
across his face. Anyways, going back to the Masters. So Lucas Glover's another player who's a little bit older. Uh, Love to see him do well. He's got obviously a lot to prove. Like Keegan, not making the Ryder Cup team, both of them really grinding it out and trying to make a move. Little Brian Harmon, obviously can't count him out.
Little Brian,
Uh,
sure he gets
he,
called that all the time.
yeah, well, he's 5'7", hits at 285. Swing speed is not really
Right?
up there.
No,
For the draw, I was looking at the driver stats on swing speed. He's last.
yeah. Wow. A lot of
Um,
these guys are little men.
he's swinging at 165. I think somewhere around there. I think is yeah, his
Yeah.
ball speed. Um, yeah. So, but there's I know you're a fan of Tyrell Hatton. He'll be playing.
I like him. I was going to mention him. I saw him on the list here. Well, I always liked him because he runs a little hot, and he's got some great clips out there. He's a funny guy too. But you never know. He's streaky. You know, I wonder what he's ranked in terms of betting
Mm.
right now.
Well,
Uh,
he probably a good pick if you like his game, and he's probably doesn't have the best of odds. I'm curious to know a little bit more about this Japanese player, Ryo Hizatsune. Hizatsune, I think. Uh, don't know anything about him. So I'm going to look into that as we get closer to the Masters. I'll be like breaking down the players and seeing how they're playing. Of course, Zach Johnson is playing. After watching the Netflix series, you'll see that Zach Johnson's kind of a strange way they depicted him. He seemed really in with those boys like Ricky and Jordan and Justin, and I thought that was a little strange.
You see, there's fantasy picks on the Masters website.
Okay, and what do you see?
There is. You pick a past champ, a United States player, international player, a wild card, and a tiebreaker. And
Okay,
I'm just
and they let you build a roster and stuff.
build a roster. And now, is this for money? Can you play for money, or is this just for fun?
I think it might be for fun.
Yeah,
They've done stuff like
I'll
this in the
stick
past.
with Kings.
Yeah, but that sounds like a fun one. A past champ. You pick an American player, one international player. So that could be European or it could be anything, right? Anybody.
Anyone.
Yeah, and a wild card. That's a pretty good like foursome pick. I could deal with that. And maybe we could share that. You know
why
what?
don't we do that? We'll
We
bet
share that next week.
for $20. You pick yours, I'll pick mine. We'll see who wins.
All right, sounds good. That's a deal. Okay, so one past champ, one United States. If you guys want to play along and give us a couple of picks, send it to us. We'll mention it on stream in the next week or two, or even today. If you want to throw something into the comments, we'll see if we could get to it.
And great. And, everyone, thanks for participating. I see quite a few people clicked the QR code for Lagmaster. We really appreciate that. And thank you for watching. Don't forget the Lagmaster contest. All the information's on our X channel or on Instagram. Follow us on YouTube. Follow Lagmaster Sports on IG as well, and we'll pick a winner out of the people that follow all the channels and do it right. We'll pick our winners from there.
All right, and big shout out to Castillo Roofing out in Florida, Mike Kelly. Make sure you ask for him. If you live in a golf community or at a clubhouse, that's what he specializes in. So ask for Mike Kelly over at Castillo Roofing. For Mike Bleakley, I'm Raphael Calmet. You've been watching the Golf Podcast Live. We'll see you next week.
Cheers.